everyone, welcome back to my channel. My name is Kendra and today I'm going to be doing my September wrap-up. I'm going to be going through my stats first, and in the month of September I read 9 books. I read a total of 2,893 pages. I read 7 physical books and 2 digital books. I read 4 of my own books, 3 library books, 1 Kindle Unlimited book, and 1 physical ARC. I read 6 female authors, 2 male authors, and then 1 female author. I read 8 adult books and 1 YA. And then I read 4 thrillers, 3 romance, 1 contemporary, and 1 horror. And I read 1 1-star, 0 2 stars, 2 3 stars, 2 4 stars, and 4 5 stars. And then I'm going to go through the books from my least favorite to my favorite. My least favorite book of the month is A House at the Bottom of the Lake by Josh Malerman. I gave this book 1 star, and this is about 2 teenagers that go canoeing on their first date, and they end up finding this tunnel, and they go through this tunnel and they find another part of the lake. Well, while they're exploring this part of the lake, they see a house at the bottom of the lake, and that's basically the premise of the book. So I didn't find this book creepy at all, and this is a horror book, so I was kind of disappointed in that. It was so boring. Like, these teenagers, they just kept going back to this house over and over and over again and kept exploring the house, but I don't know, I just didn't find anything creepy about it. And since it was about these teenagers, their love story, I guess, and it was super insta-lovey. They fell in love within, I don't know, a few weeks, and it was unbelievable. Like I said, it wasn't creepy, so if this book wasn't super short, I would have definitely DNF'd this. But since it was like a little over 100 pages, I might as well just finished it, and I should have just DNF'd it because I basically wasted my time. So I was not a fan of this book. The next one I have is The Arrangement by Robin Harding. I gave this book 3 stars, and this is about Natalie. She's a college student. She's struggling to get by, and her friend tells her about this high-paying job that she has. Well, the high-paying job that she has is that she's a sugar baby. And a sugar baby is basically where she spends time with men and they sometimes have relationships. So Natalie decides that she wants to do that so she can make some extra money, or make more money, I guess. Well, she gets on the website to find a sugar daddy. She finds Gabe. They end up going on these dates, and he tells her that he's not married, but he actually is married, and he has a daughter, and he basically will do anything for his daughter. And as time goes on, Natalie basically stalks him. So for me, I didn't think this book was really a thriller. I didn't find it thrilling at all. I did like the sugar baby, sugar daddy aspect. I find that very fascinating, and that was pretty much the only interesting part of this book. There was like a murder at the very beginning, like in the prologue, and the murder didn't even take place until, like, I don't know, the last 30 pages. So this was kind of a letdown, and I don't know, I just didn't really mesh well with this book at all. So I know that she wrote Her Pretty Face, and I am interested in reading that one, so maybe I'll give that one a shot, and maybe I'll like something by this author. The next one I have is After the End by Claire McIntosh, and I gave this book 3 stars as well. This is about Max and Pip. They have to make a very, very hard decision in their life. Their son has a brain tumor and they must decide to let him go or do advanced treatments on him. Well, they're both conflicted, and one wants one wants the other, and they both want something different for their son. So about halfway through the book, you read from Pip's side of the story and how she decided what she wanted to do with her son, and the other dual aspect was of Max and his perspective. And for me, why I didn't like this book that well is because you're reading from these two perspectives, but you don't know what the actual outcome of the story is. You just read both perspectives till the end, and that's it. You don't know what's real, what actually happened. And I want to know what actually happened. The aspect I did like of this book was the medical side of it. I really enjoyed that part of the book. It reminded me of Jodi Picoult books, and I really, really like her stuff. So I would say I liked the first half of the book, but I did not like the second half of the book. So it is what it is, I guess. But it wasn't a terrible book. I'll put it that way. The next book I have is One Night Gone by Tara Liskowski, and I gave this book 4 stars, and I read a physical arc of this. And this book it came out October 1st. So this book is about this woman in 1985 named Maureen. She moves to this coastal town in the summertime, and she works for this carnival. And she becomes friends with this girl named Tammy. They end up becoming super close, and as the summer goes on, they both end up liking the same boy. So there's that aspect of the story. But then as the summer ends, Maureen goes missing and no one knows what happened to her. So fast forward 15 years, Allison goes to the same town, and she's starting a new life because she got a divorce, and she found this job as a house sitter at this beach house. So she takes that job, and she meets Tammy at a local coffee house. And Tammy is like, "Oh wow, you look just like my friend." And Allison starts digging up the past and starts finding really dark secrets. I really liked this book. I loved how atmospheric it was. I loved the carnival setting of it. I thought that was super fun. And I liked the dual timeline. I really liked that. So I found this book very, very interesting. But this book is a very slow burn mystery. So if you're looking for a thriller, I would probably skip on this one. But I really liked the slow burn mystery part of this book, and I really loved the build-up of the story, so I really enjoyed this one. So I would definitely check this one out if you like slow burn mysteries. The next one is Coming Up Roses by Stacey Hart, and I gave this one 4 stars, and this is book 1 in the Bennett brothers. So this is about Tess. She works for a family-owned florist, and the florist isn't doing so well financially. And the owner has her children come in to help get the florist back into good financial standing. Well, one of the sons is Luke, that she used to know when she was in high school. She actually met him at a party, and they ended up kissing. He apparently was too drunk to know, and he didn't remember it. And it kind of put a bad taste in her mouth. So, and after that whole thing, he started hooking up with her best friend. So when Luke shows back up, she is not happy at all. So I really loved the floral aspect of this book and all the descriptions of all the flowers and stuff. I found that very, very fascinating. Luke, I did not like him at first. He was a prick. He was such a jerk. But as the book went on, I ended up liking him more. And I liked Tess, so I liked their relationship. And I liked how this book was an enemies to lovers and second chance romance, so I liked that part of the book. But my only hang up of this was that it was a insta love. Like, they ended up saying I love you within like less than a month, I think. So not my favorite trope in the world. So because of that, I knocked it down a star. But I am excited to continue on in the story and to get to know more of Luke's brothers. So I'm excited to read the next book in the series. The next book is Never Have I Ever by Jocelyn Jackson, and I gave this book 5 stars. This is a thriller. It is about Amy. She lives in the suburbs, and her best friend have this book club, and all the other neighbors in the same subdivision go to this book club. Well, one night at the book club, a new neighbor named Rue joins, and when she gets there, Amy doesn't really like her. She doesn't like how she is presenting herself. Well, Rue starts getting all the other girls drunk, and then she starts playing this game, Never Have I Ever, and Amy is not happy about this at all, because Amy actually has a dark secret of her own, and the way this game is going on, it feels like Rue knows her secret, so she's kind of freaking out about it. So that's like the premise of the book. So I really enjoyed this book. It had amazing plot twists, and the plot twists happened at the perfect moments in the book, so that's always good. I was completely shocked about some of the plot twists, and I literally couldn't put this book down. I definitely recommend this book if you like domestic thrillers, so I would totally check this one out. The next one I have is Top Secret by Elle Kennedy and Serena Bowen, and I gave this book 5 stars, and this is an adult romance. And this is about Keaton and his girlfriend wants to have a threesome for her birthday. So Keaton looks up on this website to find another partner for their threesome. And so on this website, he's been chatting back and forth to the other male that will be joining in on their threesome. And they start to have more and more conversations. They start talking to each other more. And when the main event comes around and the guy knocks on the door to have, the threesome with them, it is his frat brother. So that's interesting. And they actually do not like each other at all. So this is pretty much about their relationship. And I thought Keaton and Luke were the most adorable couple. They were so cute. Elle Kennedy and Serena Bowen can write the best male-male romance books. They have the most fleshed out characters. They make you fall in love with their characters so much. So, and also Luke, which is the guy, the frat brother, he is a male stripper, so it really made me think of Magic Mike, and that was a fun aspect of the book. It was interesting, but all in all, loved this book. It was so good. The romance was perfect, and I highly, highly recommend this book if you're looking for a good romance. The next one I read is Lock Every Door by Brittainy C, and I gave this book 5 stars as well, and this is an adult thriller. This is about Jules. She recently broke up with her boyfriend, she got fired from her job, and she's crashing on her friend's couch. So she's looking for a new job. She finds this ad where they're looking for an apartment sitting position. So she goes to the interview, and once she gets the job, she learns very quickly how off this job is. There are so many rules that you have to abide by, like you can't have people stay overnight, you must spend every night in the apartment, and you can't bother any of the other residents. So that's kind of weird. But Jules befriends one of the other apartment sitters, and one night she hears her scream. So she goes down to her apartment, and her friend is being really weird. And then the next day, she's missing, like she's gone. So Jules starts digging up information about the apartment and about the residents. This thriller was so good. Brittainy C is my all-time favorite thriller author now. I loved all 3 of his books now, so I am stoked for another one to come out from him. But this book is super atmospheric, and I loved how dark it was. And it also made you feel like it was supernatural, but so that was fun aspect of it. You didn't know if it was supernatural or not, so I love that type of that stuff as well. And the final plot twist of this book was amazing. Loved it. I highly recommend this book if you love atmospheric and dark thrillers, and I feel like this is the perfect October book. So if you haven't read this, definitely try reading this in October. And my favorite book of the month is Eleanor and Gray by Brittainy C. I gave this book 5 stars, obviously. This is about Eleanor and Gray. They meet at a party. Eleanor is reading Harry Potter in the corner. She's being super antisocial, and Gray goes up to her to have a conversation with her. Well, they start talking, and they end up clicking instantly, and they end up spending a lot of time together as time goes on. Eleanor is going through a very rough time in her life dealing with her mom, and Gray is there for her every step of the way. So, and then a tragic event happens, and Eleanor moves to a different state. Eleanor and Gray end up trying to communicate with each other, but as time goes on, they become more distant. So 15 years later, she comes back to her hometown, and she takes this nannying position, and the children that she's nannying are actually Gray's children. When she finally gets to see Gray, he's just off. He seems very lost, and he seems very broken, and he's actually really, really mean. So this is basically their love story of how they find each other again. This was the most beautiful book I've ever read. I cried throughout the whole entire book. It was very emotional. I was rooting for the relationship all the way, and their relationship was also a slow burn, so it was just beautiful. Not to mention, this is probably one of the most beautiful covers I've ever seen as well. So not only is the cover beautiful, but all of the words inside are just as beautiful. So I will definitely be checking out more stuff from Brittainy C. I haven't read anything else by her, but I'll definitely be checking out more stuff from her. So this was my favorite book of the month. All right, so those are the 9 books that I read for the month of September. Let me know in the comments if you read any of those books, if you agree or disagree with my ratings or any of my thoughts. And until then, I will see you in my next video. Bye!